let's get started. We're all pumped. We're excited. We're ready for this thing. We're ready to learn a little bit about trials. Today, we're going to talk about our trial class 3.0 version, which is the only one we have right now. Tips and tricks for getting it right for these trial classes. So I think the best place to start is obviously at the beginning. The purpose of a trial. So we're going to find out what the pathway to success is and what we need to know before we even turn the camera on. So apart from offering a quality lesson, the ultimate goal of a trial class is to leave an excellent impression on the student so that, they really want to become a major course VIP Kid student. So I want you to think about this. You're in the trial class and you're doing your thing and you're rocking it and you're just really trying your best, giving your 150%. And you end the class, you say goodbye, goodbye. You turn your camera off and then they turn theirs off. At that moment, how would you like your student to feel? What kind of emotions do you think you'd like running through your student at the point of completion of the class?
They didn't want it to stop.
Why is it over? I like that one. Let's see, chat box saying excitement, happy, want to try it again. That was fun.
Yeah, can't wait.
Can't wait. Exhilarated. Nice word choice. Happier than when they began. I like that, Tara. That's a really good point. We need to see some kind of improvement from start to finish. I made a friend. That's cool. Confidence, right? Pride in their own abilities. So I think it's extremely important that we think about these things. Whatever you wrote, whatever you thought to yourself, you need to think about that before you start the class. If you want them to have fun, guess what you have to do? Create a fun environment. If you want a child to feel confident or proud of themselves, you have to say and do the right things that pulls that out of them, that makes them want to continue to try. If you want a child to say, I didn't want it to end, then you can't just sit there talking to them for 25 minutes. It needs to be interesting, entertaining, engaging, physically stimulating. Think of what you want at the end of that class before you even start it. For me personally, before I start trials, in my mind, this is what I'd like to see at the end. Student leaves, turns the camera off. Oh, mommy, it was so much fun. Did you see what the teacher did? Oh, mommy, it was so funny. Mommy, can I do it tomorrow? Oh, please, can I do it tomorrow? It was so fun. So in my mind, that's what I think of. But I have to do a lot of work in that 25 minutes to get that kind of response from a child. But at least I have some kind of focus. I know where I'm going, so I can actually get in the car and go there. It's like if someone were to say, hey, get in the car, we're going to go to someplace. And they say, where are we going? I don't know. I just was going to drive around. Gas costs too much for that. What are we talking about? Have a focus, have a purpose, have an end game, and think about it before you turn that camera on. Feedback here for a second. So this is maybe some standard idea of how we might write feedback. It's maybe a little bit longer than some teachers do, but it covers the bases of strengths, weaknesses, and the sales portion, which is really what differentiates trial feedback from regular feedback. So you'll notice a few different things. It starts off strong. She did a great job with this. She was able to do that. She did very well with this. So we want this to feel like we were looking and we saw. We saw what their child did well with. We're praising their child for already knowing certain things and having, I used to write all the time in my feedback, Johnny already knew the ABCs, great job, mom and dad. Because obviously someone at home taught them. And I always felt that it was like a commendation to the parents for getting their child to the point of where they were at. Then it goes to the weaknesses. Jessica can practice this. She can work on this. She can continue to do that. This is a really important section because parents want to know where are their children struggling, but how are we going to fix it? Unlike maybe certain people who believe their children are perfect, Chinese parents just want you to tell them what's going on and how are we going to fix it. So it's not like they're going to be offended when you say that their child didn't know how to blend words, but that they can learn how to in the future. And finally, the sales portion. Jessica had a successful trial class. With continued lessons, she will. She will. She will. I always use an expression in my trial feedback that says, I think your child, into their name, is perfect for VIP Kid. And here's why. Just show them what we're going to do. The point of this feedback is to help them see that this is the right program for them to spend their money in. So we did it physically in the class, but then we also want to finish it up in the feedback. So make sure you're writing quality feedback. Now, I know many teachers use templated feedbacks. for trials. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. Just make sure that if you use a template, you never use a template that sounds like a template. Let's talk a little bit about parental expectations, because of course the parents are the ones holding the money. So it's important for us to make sure that they are very happy. So in the training, we had some information that kind of talks about what parents want to see. And they were specifically mentioning that the parents want to see improvement, even in that 25 minutes, on things like pronunciation, phonics usage, their children speaking in full sentences. So when we put all of these things together, full sentences, accurate pronunciation with words and vocabulary words and phonics, why do you think a parent is so interested in all of this? Why do you think they're maybe sitting there, especially with their little ones, and kind of like, okay, okay, yeah, that's happening. Okay, that's good too. What do you think the reason is that they kind of pinpointed on these three features? And this is a great way to show that, right? Because when we look at these three things, what we're seeing is we're trying to help the student actually gain an understanding or an ability to speak English or communicate with others. And it is what's very relevant. It's what they want to see. You're right, Grace. A lot of the parents don't have the ability to do much. Grammar is probably one of the hardest things that most of the parents do not understand at all. So it's even the parents that I have chatted with, I can tell that they know a lot of things, but the grammar's all over the place. It's sometimes like when you're getting into your level 3 students and then all of a sudden they're kind of like falling apart with their sentences. That's very common. But many of the parents, when they took classes or years ago, 20, 30 years ago, they took it from a Chinese teacher. And that was all that was offered. So they're looking and they're coming to us. VIP Kid for the longest time has been advertised as a North American education, right? So they're coming to us hoping for this, but also hoping for us to be able to help their children to gain accents that will allow them to be understood by the world's English speakers. That's something a lot of the parents feel really bad about themselves because they don't have those abilities and their confidence is very low.